So after another break, and we are now back with Unemployed to Legend, it's time to finally get into the final throes of the season here at Norwich City, as I've decided we're going to finish this season and then we're going to do one more season where hopefully we'll be able to go for it with this team. And I'm hoping we can make a big improvement because form has still not been that good. Welcome back everyone to episode 25 of Unemployed to Legend here at Norwich City. My name is Craig, and coming up on today's episode we've only got one match, and that will be against Burnley at home in the Premier League, because there is quite a lot to update on going into this episode. And first things first has been the form. I have to address that because it hasn't actually improved in the Premier League. Now I think the last episode was, where was it? December? I think it was the Leicester Wolves game. That was the last episode, which was like several weeks ago now. I'll leave a link down in the description just so you can go and check out the last episodes in case you missed it and just want a quick recap as to what had actually happened. But if I just quickly show you the Premier League, where is it? Here we go. So this is the Premier League form since that Wolves game, and we have done about 8 games. We've won about 2. We've won about 2 games in the last 8, and overall we've won 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 in 4 months. Now, I know what you're thinking, this is supposedly what Norwich City is at the end of the day, but considering we were top of the league earlier this season, I mean, one of the episodes I put out earlier in this season, was saying we were top of the league. We're not anymore. In fact, let me just show you, we're 10th. We're 10th. We have slipped so far down the table. Granted, we have a game in hand, but that's scant consolation because even if we win that game in hand, in fact, we played 1 game in hand already. We were 2 behind. We lost against Arsenal, even though we had a load of chances in that game. I feel like we're just treading water at the moment in the Premier League because we're good enough to beat certain teams who are below us, but we're not good enough to beat the teams who are above us. We are literally mid-table. I think it was just pure momentum that we started with at the beginning of the season, and to be honest, I'm glad for that because otherwise we would have been, way down here, way closer to the bottom 3. We shouldn't be relegated, but I'm not sure if we're getting into the top 7, which means if that's the case, that's no European football next season. On top of that, though, we are still in the FA Cup. We got the 5th round, which I'm not going to show you, against Crystal Palace unless we get to a final again. We won't show that. We're out of the Carabao Cup at the semi-final stage to Man City. No great shame, but it's just another poor result in a poor run of form, let's be honest with you. I kind of did you a favour by just playing through a bunch of these games. And we haven't lost too many, which is good, but at the same time, it's just been frustrating to watch. But nevertheless, January has come and gone, and we've tried to freshen up the squad a little bit, with players coming in and players are going out. So let's quickly go through those. We'll start with the players going out, and a player who you might see just behind my head that I didn't want to get rid of, but I'm surprised we kept him for this long. Max Aarons. He has gone, our right back. He's gone to Barcelona for £37 million, which was his release clause. As soon as they met that, there was nothing I could do. He literally accepted the contract just like that, very close to deadline day. So there's really not much else I could have done. He did have a good season for us, but I don't know. It felt like his powers were waning just a little bit this season because he has been sharing time with Nikolov, our new wonder kid right back. The good news is, though, that means Nikolov will actually be getting a lot more game time. Certainly this season, if anything. Where is he? There he is. So he's still showing as a wonder kid, 20 years old now. He's only 3-star current ability, but he's got that 5-star potential. He is still someone who could be a very, very good player for us going forwards. He's not had as great a season as Aaron's, but first season in England. Let's give him a bit of time. Let's see how he does next season, assuming he sticks around. In fact, does he have a release clause on him? Yes, he does. £71 million. Certainly higher than Max Aarons. I think that's the one regret I have about Max Aarons, that we didn't put a higher release clause on him. But he's younger and he's got more potential. So in that case, in that sense, he will be absolutely fine. As Elvis Mubieva has also left. We recalled him from Celtic because he wasn't happy there. He came to me and said, "Boss, I want to come back." Okay, and I'm just going to sell him on. We sold him on, it looks like we sold him on for a loss of about $250,000, but there are add-ons included, so we could still make a profit off him. As after we sold him to Sheffield United, we could make up to just over £4 million profit if the clauses go our way. I can't remember what the clause is. I think it's something to do with league appearances, but he never got into our squad anyway, so it just made sense to sell him on for some good money. Harvey Vale went for £3 million. He was a free transfer way back in the summer of 2024. We're in 2026 now, so good profit. That's the exact reason I bought him in, just to build him up, put him out on loan, sell him on for a profit. Job done. Edu Exposito has left. I completely forgot about that because he left at the beginning of January and I haven't played this game for like 3 weeks. But he has finally left. He's gone to, who is this? Guangzhou in China. He didn't play for me at all this season, so he was just sitting there in the reserves, gathering dust. Sell him on for a profit, £16.5 million for the 29-year-old. Job done. Those are the main players who we actually let go, I think. Is there anybody else? Wayne Morphew for $700,000 to Luton. He was never going to make it in the team. And that is because we did get ourselves another goalkeeper. We will come to that in a moment. Who did we bring in this window? Right, here we go. 4 players who've come in. Javier Pepe, as I'm trying to remind myself of the transfers that I did at the beginning of January. As that, again, was like nearly a month ago. 19-year-old Argentinian, 2.5-star accountability, 5-star potential, right winger. I brought him in because I wasn't impressed with Ginchard. He's played 1 game against Man City in the League Cup, got a 5.9, don't read too much into that, and then Ginchard started coming into form. Well, I mean, if he just needed to kick up the backsides, then I'm all for it, but this is a player for the future, so I don't know how much we're really going to be seeing him in this save. It might be a case I send him out on loan in the summer. Who knows? He's someone who is currently operating at Premier League level, so I say that he's actually our 8th best right winger in this team right about now. But you never know, we might see him in the cup games, we might see him in a couple of Premier League games, who knows, it kind of depends. He keeps getting injured every now and then, just picking up like 4 or 5 day injuries, which is annoying. But if Ginchard stays in form, then he's not going to be playing. Goalkeeper wise, as I mentioned, Franco De Rosa, a £6.5 million signing. Javier Pepe, by the way, was 10 million, so he'd better work out. Franco De Rosa, £6.5 million for the 19-year-old Argentinian, capped for Argentina already. He's a wonder kid, and he's our best goalkeeper in the squad, ahead of Gabriel and Verbruja, so Verbruja will more likely go at the end of the season. He's played a couple of games already, well 3 games, and he's shipped 8 goals. I think that's more indicative of our form than anything else. Let's just give him some time to settle in. Another Premier League player, so he's someone who I think we're going to be seeing probably more often next season, because at the moment I'm kind of swapping between 3 goalkeepers as I try and decide who to use and who not to use. I might give Franco De Rosa a bit more playing time, if I'm truly honest. I mean, his attributes are already pretty good. For a 19-year-old, he's capped at Argentina, as mentioned. His agility could probably do with some improvement. I'll have to sort that out in the training. I'll probably do that off camera, actually. He's also very ambitious, so look for him to ask for a pay rise at some point in the next year. And then we get Joe Willock. I actually didn't think I'd ever bring him back. Now, he was a panic buy. Because, again, just like I wasn't impressed with Ginchard on the right-hand side of our wing, I was not impressed with Udraogo. And Willock cost £8.5 million, less than his value, which apparently is now up to £20 million, so fair enough. 2.5-star accountability, but he's someone who we've used in the Premier League before. He can play in the Premier League, per se. But I'm kind of regretting this signing. He may go in the summer. Oh, it's actually £9 million. Oh, right. Potential add-ons up to £13 million. Well, if we sign him... if we offload him in the summer... I'm probably going to just do that because I do regret this signing now. Especially as we're paying him 63 grand a week. Now, I actually thought it was 43 grand a week. Not happy. Not happy at all. I panicked. I do not want to do that again. I need an actual plan when it comes to this summer. A player who I haven't panicked over, however, Joselito Carrasco, who we bought in towards the end of the January transfer window, 18-year-old Brazilian right back. He is now the backup right back. He's actually been promoted very, very quickly now that Max Aarons has gone. He's 2-star current ability, but he's got that 5-star potential. The only concern I have about him at the moment is his pace and acceleration. But I have put him on quickness. In fact, have I? Yeah, I have already. In fact, he'll do double intensity. So, make him a bit quicker, and he's going to look like a very, very good signing. He hasn't played for us yet. Nikolov, obviously, is going to be my number one player at the moment at right back. But Carrasco, if we train him up a bit, hopefully he'll slot in very nicely as that sort of number 2 status at the moment. He's not a wonder kid, but he is 18, so he could upgrade to wonder kid. Again, it's just about training him up as much as is humanly possible. Right, I've just realised it's not actually game day. It's only the 4th of February, so I've only just played the Arsenal game. We'll be back for match day. It is now match day, and there is a couple of things that I need to explain here. First things first is the team. Now, I did say we might see Carrasco in a couple of league games this season. That's actually come a little earlier than I thought because Nikolov is actually tired after the midweek game against Arsenal and he's at high risk of injury. So I don't want to break him, so Carrasco will get his first start for us. Actually, where's Gonzalez? Why is he not in my starting 11? Goodness me. I've sorted out my bench, but I forgot to add Gonzalez into the mix in and of itself. So what we're going to be seeing here is a little bit of a difference in terms of the tactics I've normally played this season. I have been fiddling around with the midfield in the last few games. Last few games I've been mostly playing midfielders very deep, so as to protect my back four with 2 holding midfielders, or ball-winning midfielder and a defensive midfielder. But I think Keki needs to be playing just a little bit forward. At least that's how we're going to be starting against Burnley anyway. So this is the team we're going to go with for our home game against the sides near the bottom 3. And I hope we get a victory this time. Da Rosa will start in goal as, well, Gabriel Brazil is still injured. I think he's going to be back. He should be back for the next game after the international break anyway. Gonzalez, Lovato, Quaresma and Carrasco as the back 4, with Gammon sitting in front of the back 4 as the defensive midfielder. Keki just ahead of him in central midfield. Ginchard, Campbell and Friars and the attacking midfield with Peter Lynch up front. It's a bit of a toss-up between Campbell and Udraugo, who I play in that attacking midfield role. I do think I've found a role that Udraugo can play, but I'm still not quite convinced. Maybe he just needs to get used to it. But let me just see how Campbell does in this game, because he's someone I still do trust to a certain extent. He's also the last of the homegrown, or the club-owned players, or sorry, club youth players that we have left in this squad, of course, because, well, Max Aarons is gone. He's gone, and that just leaves Campbell as the last man standing, if you will. Let's see how long that lasts. I remember the first season I was here at Norwich, it was Campbell, Aarons and Will Hughes I was trying not to lose. Obviously we lost Will Hughes in that first season. Aarons held on for quite a while. I'm really, really surprised. And Campbell is now the last one. And considering we're now in the Premier League, I don't think he's that quality of player you would want in a sort of European or Champions League chasing side in the league. So I think there's only going to be so much that we could probably get out of him now. That we are sort of sitting mid-table in the Premier League. Is Jesse Lingard playing for freaking Burnley now? Good save by De Rosa, but Lingard just feels like he's going all over the place in the Premier League. Not too dissimilar to real life. Is he still at Man U, or has he actually gone out on loan now? Because there's a lot of talk about that now that he's in the England squad, about his future. But we don't care about Lingard today. We just care about how we are going to perform against this side, and that's another clearance, but it just feels like we don't have enough players going forward away from the corners. I may have to fix that in the set pieces. I think there's a lot in my set pieces I need to actually fix. But right now, as far as the Premier League goes, we are sort of, oh, for goodness sake. Really? A long ball over the top. Can I just have a look at this? What's gone... Okay. Should I go much more much higher? I don't know. I feel like if you go lower on your defensive line, you're going to get punished for it anyway. Ugh, goodness me. Demand more. We need to go attacking as well. There's no option. Because we are just losing goals by the bucket loads. Not necessarily every match, but certainly in a lot of matches. Every time a team goes forward against us, it just feels like they're going to score because we are that porous. Likewise, we go forward and we look like we can score anyway. It's very back and forth. It's great for neutrals. It's not good for my blood pressure. And there is the example of Jocelyn Ginchard. He is in form at the moment, and there's a good example of that. I can't remember how many goals he scored this season. You'll probably have seen it on the screen. I completely missed it. I'll more likely check it. What, off camera? Because I have a habit of forgetting these things, as we've got a highlight straight from the off. And we are going forward here. Hopefully we get a good chance out of this. There is Ginchard. Plays the ball in, and oh, Cantwell did have a shot, but it was blocked by the defender. And there is Fires. He's another one who's been in form. And there is Keki, who has smacked one home. I thought he put that into row Z, but no, it's into the roof of the net instead. And Paul Fires setting up Keki for a lovely shot from the edge of the area. We do have some long-range specialists in this team this season. I'm talking about Keki there. Aldo has also scored twice long ranges this season. He could have had more had it not been for offsides. Don't ask how that works with long-range efforts. Oh gosh, as Paul Fires taken a knock. That's not good news. He's a player that I want to keep in. Oh, someone should have been there, but Ginchard couldn't quite get the ball around the goalkeeper. We do recover the ball, thankfully, in the defence. Quaresma, who is now a ball-playing defender, which I haven't used in... I can't even remember. Have I used it in this save so far? And Lynch has just gone down. The ball-playing defender doing his role, spraying the ball out wide, and Carrasco putting a dangerous ball in, which has caused a penalty. We know it's been awarded because we just saw that Cantwell is about to step up, and Cantwell scores 3-1. That's exactly what we wanted. That's his first goal of the season. Really? I know Cantwell's been in and out of the side, but I thought he had at least had 1 or 2 penalties this season. Just trying to think, who's been taking my penalties? Gonzalez into Ginchard. Ginchard playing very deep, by the way. I don't know why he's only there. It's the same with Udralgo, to be honest with you, because they just play very, very deep. And well, one there by Carrasco. He's not the fastest player, far from it, but he's a player who's got some good ability on the ball. And I was hoping Fires had just stuck that at the back of the net, but not quite. As we go into half-time, 3-1 to the good. Keep it up, lads. Let's finish off Burnley in the second half. Paul Fires actually should have probably come up at half-time. I'll give him till roughly the hour mark. I'm looking at Balogun as someone who can come on, as Gonzalez is also tiring as well. They're starting to drop by like flies a little bit. We have had a lot of rescheduled Premier League games recently, and that's something I kind of want to avoid as much as possible. I mean, now that we're getting shoved out of... 1 or 2 cups. Well, I say that, it's just the Carabao Cup. If anything, we're still in the FA Cup. We're also in Europe as well, which we will be back for in the next episode. I just need to see when the second knockout round is actually going to be. I don't think I showed you that in the last episode. I know it was a while ago, but we also did finish top of our group in the Europa League, which means we bypassed the first knockout round, sorry. And hopefully that will give us a very, very good draw into the second knockout round. I can't take Gonzalez off for anyone. Castillo is not on the bench, so... Unless Gonzalez just holds on for another 10 minutes or so, I don't know how he's going to do that. Let's have a look. Who else could we bring on? Udrago is going to come on for Ginchard. In fact, Cantwell is going to go out there because he can play out wide. Udrago, I'm more convinced by him and in that number 10 role. If anything, because I'm not convinced by him in the wider areas. He's not an inverted winger or an inside forward by nature, and I'm not playing a playmaker out on the wings. Come on, I'm not Matt. Lovato wins the ball there very, very nicely, and I was hoping that back pass actually worked. Cantwell. I don't know who that was to. I think he was supposed to try and find Lynch, but Lynch wasn't quite in position. Good save by De Rosa. As, for goodness sake, Football Manager loves to do this recently with a lot of highlights, as you got Two players trying to mark on the wide areas. Well done by Cantwell. He's very good defensively. Maybe he should play left back. There is Lynch. He's through here and he weaves his way in between the defenders and slots it home 4-1. Hopefully that's game done now. And it's good to see Lynch back among the goals. He missed so many chances in our last game against Arsenal. I was despairing at how many he missed. Look at that. Oh my goodness. He just weaved through that defender. He just sat him down on his backside. It was game over after he did that. It was all just a case of beat the goalkeeper. And we're currently on the 82nd minute now. And have we made... Yeah, we made 2 substitutions. We've got 1 left. Gamin is looking very, very tired at this point. So let's get Stiller on. He can play defensive midfield. But what's he better at? You know, I'm just going to stick with defensive midfield. Hopefully he'll hold on for about 10 minutes. Gonzalez is shattered, I know. I'm sorry, man, but I haven't got a left back on the pitch. I feel like I've broken him in terms of how much energy he has now per game. He constantly needs a rest. And Lynch has it in the back of the net, but I think he's offside for that one. It's a shame. It would have done his confidence a lot of good. I mean, he's fine in the back of the net. It's just a case of him staying onside now. Yeah, and the goal is disallowed, which is a shame. I would have bribed the ref with a Porsche, but we'll save that for the bigger moments. And that should wrap up the game. A 4-1 win, a rare victory in the Premier League. Maybe I should play in front of you guys more often on camera. They seem to perform when you guys are watching. So, I mean, it helps out. So we're back up to 8th. We have played the same amount of games as all the teams above us, minus Chelsea and Liverpool, but we're not chasing them. Let's be honest, we're not in the same sphere as them. 8th place, we are still in the hunt for a European spot next season, but more importantly than that, we've still got our own European adventure to focus on. That's what we're going to be back for in the next game, which is going to be, I think, in mid-March, if I remember rightly. So, first and second round of the Europa League, second knockout round will be in March. We'll come back for that. Folks, thank you so much for your patience in sticking with me and sticking with the channel. Hopefully we are now back as we count down towards FM22 and we will start to head into the latter stages of this series, Unemployed to Legend. If you've enjoyed this video, make sure to hit the like button down below and smash the big red subscribe button. It would really help me out, to help the channel out, and just to get us back into the eye line of YouTube's algorithm. Thank you so much for watching. I look forward to seeing you all in the next video.